Well, I guess Jon Snow knows where to put it, doesn't he? So episode 5 of Game of Thrones Season 3 has just aired. That means it's already halfway over, and that's sad. It's gone by so quickly, but now let's get into this. This episode starts out right really where you left off last week, or it was like the second to last scene last week. The Hound is fighting this guy who's using like the Lord of Light, and this fight scene I thought was really well done. It was really intense. And when the Hound won the fight and just cut through that guy, that was a really, I wasn't expecting that. It was really cool, but bloody. It was really fun to watch. And then this guy gets revived, and I'm confused about this Lord of Light thing at this point. It's very, mysterious, and you don't really know much about it. And I hope they start explaining it eventually, like before the show ends completely. Like when they're talking later on in the episode, this guy's been revived like 5 times. He gets stabbed through the chest and the stomach and the side and the back. It's weird, but it is pretty interesting, like most things on this show. Then moving on, Jon Snow and Ygritte finally get together. I was kind of expecting that at some point to happen. And it really shows to me what Jon Snow, he's joining the wildling side now. I think he's fully on that side. He's not really doing it for the Night's Watch anymore. I was kind of getting that feel, but this really solidified it because he was talking to the wildling with the really big beard. I don't know all the names, alright? And he was talking to him and he was trying to tell him where all of the Night's Watch are and which castles they're on. And that scene also really showed me a lot because Jon is no longer a crow, as they say in the show. He's really on their side now, and then him and Ygritte in the cave, that also helped solidify it in my mind. And then just this was to me, was kind of out of nowhere. The Karstark guy just goes and murders the Lannister kids that Robb had hostage, and it just... That, to me, I didn't understand much of why he did that. I get that he wanted to avenge his son's deaths, but still, and then Robb, cuts his head off. And this, again, this is showing me that Robb is very much like Ned, aside from the fact that he broke his promise with Walder Frey. It's to a fault that he's like Ned, and I feel like that's gonna come up and bite him in the ass eventually. I don't know at this point. It's hard to describe what I feel about him. I want him to win, I just have a bad feeling. And later on in the episode, he's talking to Talisa about what he's going to do and how he needs more armies, and he decides that he's going to go back to Walder Frey and try and get his army to go along with Robb so they can go march on Casterly Rock. I don't know about that. That, again, like, I'm very worried about what Robb is doing right now. I don't think that Walder Frey is going to be so forgiving, or he's not going to like the idea of it. I don't know, I have a bad feeling about this entire situation, alright? Okay, one series of scenes I really enjoyed in this episode was how you see Loras Tyrell and he's like practicing fighting and Sansa and Marjorie are talking, and then this guy comes up to Loras and then you see them in bed together. And then you see the guy that was in bed with Loras talking to Baelish, so I think that Baelish sent him to Loras to try and get him away from Sansa so he can then still take Sansa with him. I just think that Baelish is really smart. He's always one step ahead of everybody, and I really enjoyed that series of scenes that really just showed that he's smart enough to realize what they're doing. He is one of my favorite characters on the show just because of how smart and conniving he is. Like everybody on this show is well acted. Oh yeah, Jaime. Man, he has a scene in this episode that's so well acted. It's with such raw emotion. He's just talking about how killing the Mad King and why he did it and every little event leading up to it, and it's just so well acted. And even like the view of Brienne's face, she's just so horrified at what was going on, and Jaime was just so perfect in that scene. Nikolaj Coster-Waldau is a great actor. He's great on this show. He's one of the best performers on the show. Oh yeah, one little thing I missed. Gendry is apparently staying with the Brotherhood without banners, so now Arya is just kind of all alone. All of her friends are leaving her for these better jobs, I guess, and that's kind of sad, and apparently they're gonna take her to Riverrun now, so at least she'll be back with her family. At least one Stark will. There was a mildly amusing scene with Olenna and Tyrion talking about how they're going to pay for the wedding and whatnot. Oh yeah, and the last part of the episode, I don't know how I was skipping over that. The last part of this episode, you see Tywin, and he knows about what the Tyrells are doing, and this scene was so uncomfortable. Just all three of these characters, I could tell that, like, they all hate one another. Tyrion hates Cersei, Cersei hates Tywin, Tyrion hates Tywin, Tywin hates Tyrion. Everybody hates each other in this room, but yet Tywin still has power over both of them, so that's just, it's a very interesting dynamic to see, and now he says that Tyrion is going to marry Sansa, and Cersei's gonna marry Loras Tyrell. It's just, and then the looks on their faces when he says that, it's very uncomfortable, and I feel bad for Tyrion, and I almost felt bad for Cersei, but no, not really. Like, Tywin is very smart, and I can see what he's doing with this. I feel really bad for Tyrion right now, because I can tell Sansa will not like that in the least. I just feel bad for most characters on this show that are good people at this point. So overall, this episode I thought was a great follow-up to last week. It keeps the story going, there was some good action in it, there was great story, there was great character development, especially for Jaime. I loved this episode. It's still going along with how great Game of Thrones is. A+. We're gonna keep going like this, hopefully, for the rest of the season. I can't wait to see next week's episode. So what'd you guys think of this episode? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? How did you enjoy that Jon Snow scene? Write your beautiful comments down there and tell me what you think. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button down there, because if you don't, I'll make you marry Sam.